Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. Hour number 4 of the line right here on Talk 99.5. Yes, sir. It's been a day already. A lot going on, dude. A lot going on. A lot of recapping going on. We got JD Vance, who is speaking in Kansas City, Missouri, out there on the campaign trail, just kind of stumping for Republicans. Also, Judge Janine, who is an absolute pit bull, is set to speak about that teen takeovers. I guess there were maybe multiple incidents of teens acting a fool. If you recall, the fight at was it at Chipotle? That was one of
Yeah,
them. I
yeah.
guess maybe there were more, but she's going to be addressing that. I guess maybe charges being filed. I'd say charge the parents as well. You know, again, y'all gotta man keep your kids out of trouble. Keep them not just teens but little kids. And go back to the viral post from David Lynham. He said that there were kids throwing glass on stage. When he says it was like a mini prison riot, he said it really was. He said they were throwing glass on stage and glass was busting, and they would have to go over there. Like kids would be going over there trying to pick up the glass, and he's trying to stop them from picking up the glass so they don't hurt themselves. And the parents are just off in La La Land. They're just over on the other side of the venue drinking with their friends without a care in the world. So I say make the parents accountable. We're not talking about just a one-off thing. We're talking about things that are happening over and over in D.C. They're not going to let it fly. Judge Janine's not going to let it fly. Mandu bringing you this part of the show, Mandu.com. I'm heading out to Mandu right after the show. Get my 15-minute workout in and get ready, baby. That's right. Get to feeling good, man. You want to get in shape? I had somebody come up to me at Jawbone and said, yeah, I went and tried out Mandu. Absolutely loved it. Everybody that goes out there and tries Mandu loves it. And even if you don't sign up, like I'm not even stressing about whether or not you sign up. I just want you to get the free appointment. It's free. There's no obligation. There's no strings attached. You don't have to sign a contract. You don't have to do none of that. You just go up there and try it for free. You set up the free appointment on the website, or you can call them if you want. If you call them, just tell them, hey, I don't want to go through the website stuff. Can you just set it up for me? Here's my name. Do you have this time available? Yada, yada, yada. And make it work. But you're going to love it. 15-minute workout with a personal trainer. You're going to love the people up there. They're great. Paul and Jolie, who own the one here in Homewood, are great. Randy, the other owner at the other locations, great. Just great people. So, Mandu.com is the website. MANDUU.com. A 15-minute workout that is the equivalent of a workout in the gym that would take you 4 to 6 hours. Not exaggerating about that. 3 locations, Homewood, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa. Use any one that you want to use. If you sign up in one and you want to use the other, that's fine. If you work on, if you live in Birmingham, but you work in Tuscaloosa, and some days you want to do Tuscaloosa, some days you want to do Birmingham, that's fine. However you want to do it, man. You can work out all those details with them. But what I want you to do is get your free appointment. Mandu.com, MANDUU.com is the website. Hook it up and change your life. That's essentially it. Change your life. Speaking of primaries, we have the redistricting going on as well. As you know, in the state of Tennessee, we have an individual that's being pushed out. Nobody's forcing him out. He is able to run for Congress just as he was before the redistricting, but he is just taking his ball and going home. That is Stephen Cohen. That is the lone Democrat representative in the state of Tennessee. And as they tell you that redistricting is keeping black people from being elected, I would like to note that the Democrat that's being ousted is a white guy, and the Republican that would seemingly replace him is going to be a black woman. But, this is all about color and silencing black people, supposedly. Anyway, Steve Cohen, goes on Chris Cuomo's show over the weekend. And just to show you what emotionally fragile beings Democrats are, this grown man gets on Chris Cuomo's show and starts shedding tears about the fact that he's been redistricted out of the House of Representatives because, let's be honest, Tennessee is a red state, and I don't know, sucks to be you.
Steve, I know you're not done. So I'm going to see what you're going to do. You're always going to have a platform wherever I am. And I will be in touch with you if you don't run again, and I will have you on plenty before that time comes. And I appreciate you being on tonight.
It's funny. My press conference today is the most cameras I think I've had since the Victoria incident. And here we are again. And I got tears.
Well, and that too, Steve. But you're crying for the right reason in both cases. You were crying about Victoria, and people can look that up and remind themselves, because you didn't want to see her hurt. And you're crying now, again, not for Steve Cohen. You're crying because you know what your service meant to that community and that they needed it, especially in that state. And it was taken, and it was unfair, just like what happened with Victoria. Your heart is about helping, and I know that about you. And that's why you get emotional, even though you're a tough son of a bitch. So I'm glad that people get to see it, and I'm here for you. All right? Thank you for your service.
I've got a great district, wonderful people. They've supported me so well. It's an amazing thing that African-American community supported me for 20 years like they did, and the Republicans don't see it, and they just tear it apart because they have no perspective of caring about African-Americans or caring about people getting together and anything nice that happens.
I feel so bad for him.
They don't care about African-Americans.
Man up, bitch.
They don't care about African-Americans like I do. Wait a minute. Democrats caring about African-Americans is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. But second off, Steve Cohen represents West Tennessee, which would be Memphis. The same Memphis that we had to send the National Guard to so the black children could play outside and people could walk to the store without being shot. That's the district that Stephen Cohen represents and claims that everybody in that district was so happy for all the work that he's done for them. The only thing I saw Steve Cohen doing is promoting conspiracy theories and trying to impeach Donald Trump on Capitol Hill. He didn't do a whole lot for West Tennessee. Again, that's why we had to literally send the military so the people of Steve Cohen's district could be safe. And he was talking about the Victoria thing, and I remember this, by the way. So there was this girl. Well, this was back in like 2013. And there was this young girl. She's like in her early 20s. She's an aspiring model. And Steve Cohen was on Twitter at the time sending like tweets at her. And with things like ILY, like I love you. And everybody's like, what's this old creepy white guy doing messaging or tweeting at this young girl like this? So people started asking questions, and it came out. He ended up addressing it, and he's saying, well, this young girl, Victoria, her mother has come to me and told me I'm her biological father. A couple years ago, her mother came to me and says, I'm her biological father. And so now I'm trying to build a relationship with this girl that I now believe to be my daughter. And everybody's like, okay, kind of weird, but okay. And CNN came along and said, "Well, I tell you what, have you taken a paternity test to make sure this is your daughter?" And he's like, "Well, no, I haven't done that." And they said, "Well, we'll pay for it if you'll let us give a paternity test to see if you're her actual dad." They do that, and Steve Cohen is not her dad. Her biological dad turns out to be the guy that has been raising her, who has been saying that he's her dad. But for the course of 2.5 or 3 years, Steve Cohen was like, "Oh, no, forget this guy that raised you. I'm your dad." And then all his hopes and dreams were crushed once a paternity test or a DNA test was done. And
What a sicko.
it was weird. And so it's bizarre to me because Chris Cuomo, Steve Cohen's crying over the mention of this girl's name. And first of all, again, you tried to build a relationship with her over the course of 3 years after she was already an adult. But even Chris Cuomo's playing along like, "Well, I know how much that hurt you to find out that girl wasn't your daughter." Well, it was like, well, you didn't raise her. This other guy raised her, and it turned out this other guy is actually her dad. And then if you go and you look it up, it'll talk about the aftermath, and it says, upon learning the results, Congressman Cohen stated he was stunned and dismayed by the outcome. Despite the revelation, Cohen expressed that he will still love Victoria and cherish the time that they had spent together and hope to continue to be a part of her life. Come on, dude. It's so weird. Don't be a weird. Democrats are so weird. Why are they so weird? Why are they so weird?
I don't know, but I hope they keep being weird because that'll mean all we do is win, win. All we do is win.
But you can, they're immoral. They're evil. They're hypocrites. But, you could be all those things and not be so weird. But they want to be weird. I think they legitimately want to be weird. Speaking of Democrat hypocrites, perfect example when we get back of these guys being hypocrites. So there's a page called The Lady Whistled Down of Beeham. And it apparently is like this page that talks about like drama going on around town, but doing it in a very like Victorian era way,
Oh, cool.
including outing men that are like getting caught out and about cheating on their wives and stuff like that, and vice versa. It's a very gossipy page. Well, apparently it just picked up on Lynam's story and now is talking about the mini prison riot at the Edge in Homewood.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. That's wild. Let me make sure. Make sure he's seen that. They just send that to him right fast. Let's see. Seen this? There we go, buddy. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Speaking of Victorian era, that's what I think about when I think of historians. You like historians?
Oh, yeah, man. I love history and historians.
Historians are supposedly very smart people, right? They know a lot. They got a lot of information crammed in that big brain of theirs. Unless, of course, they're a Democrat. Now, you know what I always say? I always say that whatever the Democrats accuse you of, they are guilty of themselves. And that's not just something that Andrew Mclain makes up. That is actual fact. You guys see that in real time. I don't have to prove it to you. They prove it to you every single day, which is why I found it ironic when I watched this liberal historian talk about Republicans and their tactics.
Republicans have perfected a technique for a long time now. It's really became very obvious in the 2000 presidential election, but it's an old propaganda technique in which you accuse your opponent of what you yourself are doing. And we tend to identify that in modern American politics with Karl Rove, who's a Republican operative, but in fact, it's an old propaganda technique that is often identified with Nazi Germany. And the idea behind it is that if you accuse your opponent of what you are doing, it's very difficult then for people to understand when the opponent comes back and says, well, wait a minute, you're doing it too. And what that does is it creates confusion so that people tend to throw out both sides of the equation and say, well, they're both corrupt or neither is corrupt. It muddies the waters around that issue.
Well, I'll be. Well, I'll be.
It's so carefully scripted. It's not even funny anymore.
That's wild. The Republicans are accusing Democrats of what they're doing themselves. I've never heard of such a thing. It's Democrats doing the thing while they're accusing Republicans of doing the thing. They're guilty of accusing others of doing what they're doing, and then as they're accusing them of that, they're actively doing it at the same time. That's crazy. So that would be a double accusing your opponent of what you're doing. You're doing it like 2 times at once, which is quite fascinating. Only Democrats could pull that off. Case in point, Democrats say that Republicans are anti. We'll go back to Steve Cohen talking about Republicans don't care about African Americans. Republicans don't care about black people. No, it's the Democrats that don't care about black people. Democrats will say Republicans are anti-police. Just look at January 6th. Look at how they talk about the feds and the FBI. Yet 173 Democrats last week refused to vote for a resolution honoring law enforcement officers during National Police Week. Whatever they're guilty of, they'll accuse you of doing. It literally happens every single time. Speaking of why conservatives go after or talk about the feds and federal law enforcement, because of what we watched happen on January 6th, by the way. There's a new report that was dropped by the DOJ on Friday showing that 26 undercover agents or confidential human sources were inside the Capitol on January 6th. That would be undercover confidential human informants working directly for the FBI dressed as Trump supporters. And you had Christopher Wray on Capitol Hill saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Under oath, by the way. And they used very careful language. They're like, no, I don't think we had undercover officers. But what's the difference? Well, a confidential human source is somebody that may not be an FBI agent, but they're working for the FBI or they're working with the FBI. They may be, being held hostage by the FBI to say, hey, we've got something we could charge you with, but if you'll work with us and you'll play the role of a Trump supporter on January 6th and help this riot get kicked off, then we won't charge you. But essentially, they lied to your face. That's what Republicans are talking about. But when it comes to anti-police, that moniker belongs to the people that want to defund the police. That moniker belongs to the people that refuse to fund ICE and CBP and DHS on Capitol Hill for weeks and weeks on end and held other agencies hostage over it. Whatever they accuse you of, it still stands. Whatever they accuse you of, they are guilty of themselves. a little item for a hat tip. How about that? This makes me want to get on stage and start a prison riot.
Yeah, throw some glass on stage.
Yeah. Pro Lift Doors, my boy Mike Miller, Pro Lift Garage Doors, man. Y'all been calling him up and getting jobs done, man. I appreciate y'all. It may be your garage doors at your home. You know, it's not just the doors themselves, but there's springs, there's the motor, there's all kinds of stuff that comes with a garage door that you know, they only live for so long. These things have a lifespan, and they eventually run out. If you've had it for a while and you'd like to change it up a little bit, Mike be more than happy to do that for you. Or maybe it has gone out. You ain't been able to use your garage door. Let Mike come out there and give you a free estimate. If you're part of the Talk 99.5 family, he will come out there free of charge and check it out. See what you got going on. But it may not be your home. It may be your business. It may be those big roll-up doors on your barn or your storage shed or whatever you got going on. If you need new doors, you need panels replaced, you need the motor replaced, springs replaced, Mike has got you. This is your go-to spot for garage door, anything, whatever it may be. Mike's got you. He's a buddy of mine, so I know he's going to take care of you. Just reach out to him. I'll go ahead and give you the phone number, but also check out his website, 205-346-8465. It's 205-346-8465. Online, proliftdoors.com. Proliftdoors.com. Hit him up and mention your boy, Andrew Mclain. Yes, sirree. All right, I think I got time to squeeze in a phone call before we hit the wheel. Can we do that?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
What do I got on line one? Is this Kevin in Alabaster?
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
I was wondering if you had heard anything about the Voter Participation Center.
Voter Participation Center. Where's this at?
Well, they're out of Mississippi. I think they have branches all over the place. Technically, they're like some kind of thing that's supposed to get people registered to vote. And when I looked at the paperwork that was included with it, because I have a weird situation. I have an address that I receive mail at, and I have an address where I live. And obviously, the address where I live does not show me registered to vote there. So, I'll get the generic mail for coupons and stuff like that. But I got this thing from the VPC, the Voter Participation Center, and I've got weird things throughout the years, and I was like, well, what is this? How do they know what's going on? Because, you can look on records and see who's registered to vote wherever. But I thought it was weird that they sent it. So when I did some background on them, they were established in 2004 by some left-wing organization. And John Podesta, who was the Clinton chief of staff, he ran it for several years. And in 2012, they got in trouble because they tried to register animals, dead people, and celebrity names to vote. So there's been some bad policies that they've been doing, but I was thinking, I hate to think like this because, like I said, the paperwork looked legitimate. But if they're monitoring that address where I stay at and they're seeing if anybody's registered to vote there, they send paperwork there. And like I said, I can't register to vote in two places, obviously, so I'm not going to get a response. They don't know that. But if they check again and they don't see anybody registered to vote there, could they use my address as like a, hey, you know what, so and so lives here? I'm just kind of concerned about stuff like that because I've gotten weird things in the mail before. Like I got those debit cards that people have when they don't have a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
And when I called the place and asked them, hey, this person doesn't live here, it was like, well, we only send them out to real people. It was like, well, if they lied about living here, they may be lying about their name too. So
right.
It might be that. But I was just thinking if anybody else has got these things and anybody else has done any research on the VPC.
Mm. No, I've been looking at some stuff, and usually, like, if you go to Google and you type in a question, like, just like throwing something out there, say, is the Voter Participation Center a, Democrat or Republican organization? And when you do that on AI mode, instead of it actually giving you an answer from AI, it just directs you to their website and their About Us section. It says, and you've likely seen all this, Voter Participation Center is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization founded in 2003 to help members of the New American Majority register and vote. Since then, the organization has helped more than 6 million people register and cast ballots. So they're not just helping people register, they're helping them cast ballots, which is a red flag in the first place.
Yeah.
And for them to go out of their way and say we're nonprofit.
Left leaning.
Yeah, and they say we're nonprofit, we're nonpartisan. Okay, I don't believe that. But and what is this? They keep bringing up the New American Majority. What is that? What is that supposed to mean? Majority of what?
Majority or minority? Because when I read it, it was minority. Because originally it was the WVWV. It was like women's vote something, women's something else. But now it's the VPC, and now it includes young people, people of color, and unwed women. And I guess I don't qualify for any three of those categories, so that was a red flag for me. Like, why am I getting this, you know?
Yeah, I'll do some looking into that and see what exactly is going on with that, because even AI is not giving me any background on it. It's just sending me to their website. So we'll see.
Some of those AIs are as biased as the search engine. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for everybody if they wanted to look that up.
Yeah, I'll look at that. And yeah, okay. So Tom Lepak, I guess is maybe how you pronounce his name. Maybe it's different. Tom Lepatch. Let's call him Tom Lepatch. He's the CEO of Voter Participation Center and its sister group, Center for Voting Information, two left-of-center voter outreach organizations which run voter mobilization campaigns in competitive states to support Democrat candidates. So, and this guy lives in Washington, D.C., and he runs this organization. So, sounds like, it's exactly what you think it is.
Okay. All right. Now, I'll just put that out there just so anybody can be aware, because I don't know, I hate to think that way, but, you never know. People watch this stuff, and the next thing you know, I got Pedro Madro voting for my residence,
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, that's probably what's going on, honestly. We'll look more into it. I appreciate the info, though.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, buddy. Let me I got to hurry because I got to do the wheel. But here's a little background on Tom Lepatch. In 1999, it's probably Tom Lepak. I bet is how you pronounce his name. Lopach. It says in 1999, Tom Lepak began his political career as executive director of the Committee for a Democrat Majority and served in the role for 8 years. During that span, the PAC went from spending $465,000 in the 1998 election cycle to a peak of $2 million in the 2004 elections. Political contributions exclusively went to Democratic candidates, with the bulk of expenditure going towards fundraising efforts for candidates rather than direct contributions. Lepak left the PAC in 2007, and it ceased operations after the 2010 election cycle. Throughout his 7 years at the PAC, Lepak simultaneously served as National Finance Director for Senator Ted Kennedy. From 2007 to 2009, he worked as the National Finance Director of the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee. He then worked for a year at the Export-Import Bank of the U.S. as Senior Vice President. From 2010 to 2014, he served as Chief of Staff for Senator John Tester, Democrat out of Montana. He then returned to the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee for a 2-year stretch as Executive Director. In 2017, he worked for less than a year at subject matter lobbying firm with clients including Facebook, Goldman Sachs, and Verizon. He left the company to serve as Chief of Staff for Governor Steve Bullock, another Democrat. In 2019, his position evolved into senior advisor for Bullock's short-lived Democrat presidential campaign. After Bullock dropped out of the race in December of 2019, Lepak served as interim commissioner of the Montana Department of Labor and Industry for 3 months. In 2020, he became CEO of the Voter Participation Center, where now he's probably, helping fund voter fraud. Who does? Just a heads up. All right, we got to do this fast, John Bird. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Wheel of Segment. This will be the fastest Wheel of Segment you ever heard in your life.
I'm just a kid.
I'm just a kid.
Sometimes I don't watch I don't watch the news because I'm a kid, and apparently Grandpa just gives me the remote after we watch the Powerball.
And here it goes. I'm just a kid, and life is a nightmare. I'm just a kid. I know that it's not fair.
I'm just a kid at the edge in Homewood, throwing glass on stage and causing a prison riot. What are the chances?
That's perfect.
It lined up perfectly. All right, let's do this quick, fast, in a hurry. I may just have to give you headlines, John Bird. I don't know what's going to happen.
Bring it.
with
Let's
this.
see how fast we can go. Let me get my buzzer ready.
Oh, yeah, you got to have your buzzer ready for when I mispronounce words. First up, 6-year-old boy finds 1,300-year-old sword during school trip.
Whoa.
That's pretty gnarly. A normal school outing in Norway turned into an archaeological discovery when a 6-year-old boy noticed a rusty object sticking out of a plowed field. What he had found was not scrap metal, but a 1,300-year-old sword from the shadowy centuries before the Viking Age. The discovery was made by Henrik Refnes Motrava. A first-grade pupil at Friedheim School during a class trip in the Brandbu area of the Grand Municipality in Norway's Innlandet County.
I don't think that's it.
According to NRK, Henrik spotted part of the object protruding from the soil while walking across a field with his classmates. At first, the object looked ordinary, rust, earth, and metal, but its shape quickly raised question with teachers and children. The teachers and children did the right thing. Instead of treating it as a souvenir, they contacted local archaeologists. That decision may have saved an important piece of Norway's early medieval past.
Norway's kids must be very well behaved.
Yeah, unlike
I'm glad
ours.
we didn't find it in Homewood.
Yeah, because they would have taken it and started stabbing each other with it. They would have broken it in half,
Throwing it on the stage.
throwing it on the stage at David Lynham. He thought it was bad at first. Imagine him doing a sword throwing gimmick. You know, like they do at some of those shows, like throwing the knife throwing at the chick on the spinning wheel or whatever. All right, next up, headline: 14-year-old boy stole and drove a bus for the third time in 6 months.
What?
Police received a report on Sunday morning of a young driver behind the wheel of a bus in the area of Grimstad. The bus was traveling west on the E18, and police stopped the vehicle on the E39 west of Kristiansand. The driver of the bus is a minor boy who was taken into custody and taken into care by the police and child welfare services. The bus was stolen in Oslo, and the bus company in question has been notified. There was no one else on board the bus, but it's not the first time. The Eastern Police District informs NRK that the 14-year-old boy is the same one who also stole a bus in Oslo earlier this year and drove it to Sweden. He also stole a bus in Stavanger last November. The boy drove around for 3 hours, stopping in Sadness, Ryfast, and Stavanger before returning the bus himself.
I guess he's a serial bus driver.
He's a serial bus
Take his
stealer.
license away never give him a license.
Yeah, never give that boy a license because he's obviously got a fascination with buses. So what I would do is I would try to steer his life on track by, having him
steer his life. I like that.
Try to get him a job in, bus repair or something. Have him work for the city.
Yeah, great. He repairs a bus, then gets in it and drives it for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe just make him a bus driver. That's probably the way to go.
They probably won't pick anybody up. He just wants to drive.
And last but not least, man charged after 3-year-old pulled loaded gun from diaper bag during a traffic stop in St. Paul.
Oh, dang.
That's right. A 3-year-old pulling out a firearm on the police. That happens in places like St. Paul, Minnesota, which is an absolute hellhole these days. One of 3 small children in an SUV pulled a loaded gun out of a diaper bag and turned towards a police officer during a traffic stop in St. Paul. I'm not laughing about this, but it's just crazy that, Kenneth Ray Terry, 37 of St. Paul, was charged May 13th in Ramsey County District Court with endangerment of a child by firearm access, a gross misdemeanor, and misdemeanor possessing a pistol without a permit in a public area. Terry was arrested, then released on his own recognizance ahead of a June 10th court appearance. Court records do not list an attorney for him. Contact information for Terry was not immediately available. Police said Terry is the father of the 3-year-old who was the oldest of the children in the SUV with him. According to the criminal complaint, about 2:15 p.m., May 11th, police stopped an SUV on Thomas Avenue near Gatler Street after seeing the driver was not wearing a seatbelt. Terry told the officer he did not have a driver's license and apologized for not having a seatbelt on. If you don't have a driver's license,
apology's not going to do much.
I'd check your taillights and I'd put your seatbelt on. I'd just make sure all of those were taken care of. The officer determined a warrant was pending for Terry's arrest stemming from a domestic assault allegation. Okay, so no license, and you got a warrant? Come on. After additional police arrived, Terry reached towards the back seat that was occupied by the 3 children. The officer thought Terry was just checking on the children. Terry was informed of the outstanding warrant, and he contended it was for someone else. He was then arrested. Another officer looked in the SUV and saw that one of the children weren't properly buckled and was crying. Another child was concerned about the mucus coming from their sibling's nose and climbed to where a Mickey Mouse diaper bag was on the floorboard. Wait, so the 3-year-old is worried about the brother or sister's nose running, so the 3-year-old was going for the tissues. Interesting.
Huh.
They said the child reached into the diaper bag for a tissue, then turned towards the officer holding a Taurus handgun. The officer had the child put the gun down on the car seat and recovered it. That's crazy.
So, what are they going to charge the 3-year-old?
No.
They're trying.
They said the
put a
gun
gun on a cop.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, fair is fair.
Yep.
I would, I'd at least hit the kid with a taser. Tase
Lowest
a 3-year-old.
setting now. Lowest setting.
Says the gun did not have a round in its chamber, but had a magazine with 6 rounds in it. And if that 3-year-old knew how to rack it, we could have had a problem. Terry explained he has the gun for protection in the wake of death threats. He said he put the gun in the diaper bag once he realized he was being pulled over by police. Oh, that was a smart idea, buddy.
Man.
And that's what we call I'm just a kid.
Good job, Andrew. You brought it.
Did pretty good. AlabamaMen'sClinic.com. AlabamaMen'sClinic.com. Low T, it's a real thing. It's going to make you feel like crap if your T levels aren't where they need to be. As you get older, you get in your 60s, your 70s, your 80s. But even younger than that, people have testosterone problems. Your levels get out of whack. Get it straightened out. It's not just about in the bedroom, behind closed doors, which is very important. But it's about how you feel every single day, man. If you've got anything, if you want to spice things up, if you want to get things up and going, get that motor revved, any of those things, get to Alabama Men's Clinic. I'm telling you guys, don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. These guys are great, fantastic people that are going to take care of you, make you feel comfortable, and you're going to enjoy your visit. Just get that initial consultation so they can see where your levels are at and come up with a plan and tell them what it is you want to see, what you want happening in your life with your body and everything else. They got you, man. AlabamaMen'sClinic.com, 205-598-7000. That's 205-598-7000. Dude, I've got to get out of here quick, but I feel like everybody needs to hear the story. So let me just real quick. I'll breeze through this. Noto Roofing, N-O-T-O, roofing.com, 848-2299. You know exactly what to do. Best roofing company out there. They got you covered. Chris and the rest of the team, Sammy, Matt, all of them. Got you covered. Get that free roof inspection. No problemo. No problemo. 205-848-2299, notoroofing.com. Then you got David Ernest, Ernest Financial, retirewithernest.com. Retirewithernest.com. Get your retirement protected. Make sure retirement is going to be easy peasy. Get everything in order. Make sure your money is where it needs to be and everything else. These guys, David's been doing this 45 years, man. He knows exactly how to make it happen. 833-596-7233. 833-596-7233 online. Retirewithernest.com. Leland coming up next. He's here in studio.
Yeah.
And I don't know how informed you are about what happened at Jawbone. Well, a lot of things happened. First of all, I think Damon got really mad at me because I screwed up. Yeah.
What'd you do?
He said I effed it up. He didn't say it directly to me, but, well, the intro, I was supposed to wait and let him come out on stage before I, say, welcome, Brother Kane. But AJ was kind of giving me the, hey, go ahead. And so there was a weird, 3 or 4 minute moment before they came out. But that's not the story. The story is the fact that our boy John Bird stayed out all night. I'll catch you up on that. Leland Live up next. Till next time. See you, Court.